Our ttrpg campaigns can vary in length, but I find that most dungeon masters prefer running games for a long period of time, ones where the story is epic and requires the completion of many quests and adventures in order to actually complete the story. But why has that become the norm in many systems and games? Is it our love for stories like Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones that has given this sense of grandeur that only the longest and the most epic of stories are worth doing? What if I was to tell you guys that you're wrong? Sure, there are outliers that have been able to successfully run a multi-year campaign without any hiccups, but please understand that they are the exception, not the rule. I myself have a group on Saturdays that have been playing with the same people in the same campaign for around 2 years, but I've also got other groups that don't even last 6 months. The reality is that our lives can change very quickly, especially when you get married, have children, move around for work, that kind of stuff. And according to D&D Beyond, 70%, 70% of D&D campaigns are level 6 or below, and most of them end before level 10. I wonder why that is. Apart from the inability for people to align their schedules, my view is that high level D&D is atrocious to run as a dungeon master, as things become very complicated and slower to adjudicate. Lower level D&D is easier to run and schedule and structure, which is why I think very few of you have actually reached level 20 with the player character, myself included. I would much rather take part, personally, in a game where gratification isn't delayed more than it needs to be. That doesn't mean it needs to be instant, and actually I'm very against constant and instant gratification for players because it makes that sense of victory not as worthwhile, right? But having to wait 1 or 2 years to feel a sense of victory just doesn't really hit the spot anymore, especially when there's a lot of, filler content and side quests that don't really lead to anything. I've seen campaigns get derailed by shenanigans and powerful magical items like the Deck of Many Things, which I think is a fucking abomination, to be honest. I don't think there's many D&D channels saying that, right? And I think it's funny because Dungeon Masters use these items and concepts usually to inject excitement into their campaigns, to get their players excited, to get excited themselves. But you wouldn't need that injection if you had just decided to do things differently. Let me tell you guys an alternative. Run shorter campaigns. Ones that take place from levels 1 to 4, 4 to 7, 7 to 10, 11 to 14. Campaigns where the players are able to take part in a elaborate plot, fight bad guys, save the princess, and receive their reward. My IRL group right now is doing just that with the Lost City module by Tom Moldvay, and they are now approaching the end game of the story where they attempt to unite the 3 factions to take the fight to the great demon Zargon. And they've been playing now for like 2 or 3 months. We have had to miss a couple of weeks because people have been on call, working and stuff like that. But we're approaching the end, and I think the party is quite excited about that. So, once that campaign's finished, we can start a new one, either with me as Dungeon Master, or maybe another player can jump in, so I get to be a player for a change. To be honest, obviously I hate it's very obvious that I hate running high-level D&D, but as I discussed earlier, but I would be happy to run it for a shorter game that was only going to be lasting for 2 to 3 months, just so we get to experience a higher power level where characters get access to really cool magic. But doing it for several months or years just doesn't appeal to me whatsoever. A lot of you who watch my videos are around my age or older, so I'd assume that most of you have heard of Conan the Barbarian and the books written by Robert E. Howard. The stories in these chronicles are ones of true delight and show that you can have a short, meaningful story, one that doesn't overcomplicate the narrative or derail the plot. Even the two original Arnold movies are stuff of legend and tell a simple but emergent story of Conan and his humble beginnings. In ttrpg terms, these games or these stories would be mini campaigns, ones that take 3 to 5 months to complete, a story where the player characters slay monsters, travel long distances, explore exotic lands, and delve into dangerous places and dungeons. Once the adventure is over, so too is the game. Your players can feel that sense of accomplishment, and if that game was fun and you enjoyed it, you can run another one, right? Get your players to sign up for another one. And they can use the same characters or new ones. Maybe half the party continues with the same characters and some of them pick up new ones, you know? And I think that's what a lot of games are missing. This sense of downtime where their characters can enjoy the spoils of victory by becoming members of the king's court. They can purchase luxury items or erect monuments or keeps, castles, or they can settle down with the person of their dreams. My point is that in many games we see downtimes being used either far too much or just not at all. But running a continuous story where your players never get to enjoy their success just feels really underwhelming to me. So you can use the downtime between your campaigns for development for those reoccurring characters. And if any of your players want to make a new character for the upcoming game, let them. I'm sure most of you have one player at your table who has several character concepts cooked up, but never gets to actually use them. Mini campaigns will let you do just that. Make sure you guys join my Discord if you'd like to get involved with my community and join our monthly events. And also consider checking out my Patreon and joining as a free or paid member if you'd like to gain access to charts, tables, and systems that you can deploy into your TTRPG campaigns. I'll see you guys next time on Loki's Lair. Until then.